Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and joining us now over the phone to shed more light on this file, we're joined by Dr. Ahmed Rashid, the Professor of Sustainable Development. Dr. Rashid, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be within our Egyptian community to talk about this very important topic.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Rashid, first of all, Egypt, by hosting COP27 in November, now it is positioning itself on the map of the green countries, the countries that are adapting green economies, environmentally friendly industries, and really trying to combat climate change, trying to limit it to 1.5 degrees Celsius of global warming. Now, how can Egypt, as a model with all the effort it is exerting, to be adopting a plan that will reach 50% of government-funded green projects by the year 2025 and hopefully 100% by the year 2050?
Of course, the sustainability is something which it is not a year event. It is something which accumulated many years before and after. So we have to think about what we have and as an opportunity to understand, to play the game, because the sustainability and the COP27 is something which is going to be discussions, dialogue, and debates between different, perspectives and from different, within the United Nations, SDGs. They have many perspectives, and Egypt already understood that, and it is going to be a very good opportunity to invest. And the thing is how we, what is the investment opportunities which we have within this, event. One of the things that even we have our law for the environmental law since the 1994, and within our law we have what's so-called the sustainable perspective by applying the strategic environmental assessment within the policy, the plan, the program, and of course within each project it should be there should be what we so-called the environmental impact assessment. But somehow we are not in the position for the economic and for the needs to implement it in the right way. So after a while, day by day, the awareness started to be, and the campaign has been. That's why we have by the 2015, our 2030, in sustainable development agenda. Now we are keen to have more and more developmental, needs, but again within the perspective of the sustainability. And this is one of the things which, okay, it's going to be not that easy. It's not a magic, but it's being building. But by the awareness and by the government attention and by the community attention within this 1 year, we already have been moved from a stage to another stage. Everyone at least aware that we have an event. But if we return back from the beginning of what we so-called sustainability, and this is one of the things which I used to say, that sustainability was built within our roots. The Egyptian civilization was built on sustainability. That's why we have the Great Pyramid, which is the one unique, the Seven Wonders, which the only one existed, and that's why we have what's called the Green Pyramid rating system. It is mentioned that it is a green rating because the Green Pyramid is the most unique building all over the world. And this is one of the tools which we are using now with buildings, that we like to have green buildings. Within the economy itself, in the Egyptian civilization, we use what we so-called all the economic resources to build, because without economy they could not reach what they have from this civilization. So we have many things. Even I am now within the States and trying to search for how we could use to have this merge between our civilizations and the COP27. And that's why yesterday I already within the media I have this kind of asking that why we are not going to use the Rosetta Stone to be a unique topic for the Rosetta village, which is Borg Rashid, which they discovered the Rosetta Stone within, because this is could be a unique point for Egypt to mention within the conference, because we used to say that, okay, we have a splitting through the Mediterranean, through the Niata, through the Delta, but if we would like to take an example, which is a very unique example, it could be the citadel of Qaisbay, which was Rosetta Stone discovered, because it's already every day, it has a lot of problematic from the water raise, from the climate change, and yes, it could be something which could be used for many different angles, and it could be a file to be mentioned by Egypt for the international community to support, and it is already, everyone is going to know what is Rosetta, because yes, in 200 years we are going to have this kind of celebration that we within Champollion, and how he discovered the hieroglyphic and whatever. So it is already a point which we could use our civilization. This year, by the 18th of April, there was what's called the Day of Heritage, the International Day of Heritage. The title of this day was the civilization, or the heritage, and the climate change. So we as Egypt, and we have the civilization, we have everything, we could use this as an opportunity to merge between civilization and climate change and sustainability. This is one of the ideas. Maybe there will be many other ideas. The government, and I have many of my colleagues, and there are many organizations, and every student within the school or within the university, he would like to participate, and he has his own file and has his support. The media now is playing the role that they would like everyone to know in Egypt that we are having this challenge. But again, we could still have more and more ideas to be already mentioned within this event. One of the other things that, okay, we addressed, we call that, we said that we are going to have Sharm el-Sheikh to be the city to host the COP27. And we said that Sharm el-Sheikh is going to be a green city. Yes. One of the things which, when we said that, I said that we should say that towards Sharm el-Sheikh to be a green city. Because within 1 year, it's not going to be magic that it's going to be transformed to a green city. It's not to have only solar cells or whatever. It is a mechanism. But we could ask the international community to come to participate. And with each country, and with each company, with each individual, he could have an idea for Sharm el-Sheikh to be a green city, and to be within the climate change, the model for that climate change. Yes. Last year I was the one who was, okay, we already within the British University, and with my colleague, we host what's called a Zero Cities campaign for the COP26. And we already got files, and already we continue. There will be others who are going to continue our efforts for the COP28. And it's something which is in the process, and this is the idea. It is not only 1 year event, or but it is what we call a process to be understood from this perspective.
Dr. Rashid, you've mentioned a few things. I mean, if we are trying to reach the level of 100% government-funded green projects by the year 2030, which coincides with Egypt's goal of achieving sustainable development by 2030, Egypt also has its own national climate change strategy to be achieved by the year 2050. Now, how can we build on a success, or how can we use COP27 to be able to reach both goals, reach the 2030 sustainable development and government-funded green projects by the year 2030, and at the same time use it for, as a push for the national climate change strategy to be achieved by the year 2050? You've mentioned the Rosetta Stone, for instance. and Sharm el-Sheikh as a green city, but these are mainly cultural or social characteristics that shows Egypt's seriousness towards fighting climate change. But how can we use COP27 as a stepping stone to reach our goals for the National Climate Change Strategy 2050, for instance?
Okay, this is one of the things which is very clear. As I said from the beginning, it is something which is a process. It's not a product. What we said, COP27, it's now an opportunity. I was with the British Embassy and they said 150 days for the COP27. Now it's going to be 100 days for the COP27 to be happen. So again, we're already on the track. We are not just waiting what we could do and how we are going to use. But again, what I mentioned, it is opportunity. It's already opportunity. It's already opened the files. The government will think from the top down, and the community needs from bottom up. And then we could meet in what we so-called the sustainability movement. This is again one of the things which we have to be realistic to see that there is a gap. Sometimes the government is very ambitious, but again, the community is on the underway. They have their own problems. They have their own system, mechanism, and to make a change is not something which is being bad. If you would like to make a change with the education, we found that there will be point of views between sometimes the government and again the community, and that's why we sometimes make a direction, then move from one direction to another. So what I would like to say, again, the most important thing for the COP27, that we are opening all the files, and from the government to think that, yes, it is not something that's coming by order, it is something that the community needs to be learned, because without the community, from all the different dimensions, without them we will not going to achieve. It's not something coming by order. It's something sometimes we could build it. We could build that within generation or two, but to be slowly but sure. But if we would like to think that, okay, once the 27, the COP27 ended, and that we already have a good file and everybody was pleased and we have hosted the event in a right way, and then it was ended like that, this is again will be the wrong track. We will miss the opportunity. I'm sure that the government is doing all their best, but again, if I'm in the position in the government, I understood 100% what challenges they face between the reality and between what we so-called sometimes the dream. But again, we are doing the work. They already put the strategies. They already hosted. They do all what they would like. Even I know that my colleagues or within the ministries or even to Mahmoud Mohideen, he tried to ask everyone to be shared, and he would like to know all the ideas, and he tried to make it and to find till now what is going to be the files which Egypt is going to be presented. But again, it is not the COP27, it's not for Egypt to present files, rather than Egypt to host and to manage the cooperation between the international community and the dialogue which is going to be happened between all different parties. And as last time when they have this kind for the energy, which is going to be outing or it's going to be downing, we know that it's going to be a lot of other issues to be discussed.
Dr. Rashid, one final question now. You're in the United States right now. It happens that Egypt celebrates 100 years of diplomatic and bilateral relations with the U.S. this year. Now, the United States is one of the main players within the Western international community. How serious and how ready are they to take part in the COP27? I mean, they're suffering through their own inflation as well, the monkeypox, COVID, the economic challenges with Asia. How do you expect the United States to be participating in COP27?
Okay, one of the other things that I'm just arrived, I'm not more than 45 days being within the United States. So I moved from Egypt to the United States to start the sabbatical leave study for 1 year. But again, I know that there is, even between governments, between the two parties, they have a lot of dialogue between the Democratic and, how they are going to make a changes. Sometimes the Republicans find it is in a way which is not accepted by the Democratic and vice versa. But again, they will have their own agenda. They are going to support as much as we could. But, there is a lot of companies and there is a lot of, conflict between this track and that track. They have their own suffering with, the petroleum or whatever, the living and the issues related to COVID and how everything is going to be happening. With the person, the Egyptian person who lived in the States as an American, he was usually think that, okay, he could support, but he has no idea how. Sometimes we have something governmental channels, but they would like to support in a different way, and there is a kind of a miscommunication. But again, I could not speak with the old perspective about the situation in America with my minimum experience. Till I will be, even if after months from now, I could mention and could speak, in a better way about this issue.
Dr. Ahmed Rashid, the Professor of Sustainable Development, thank you very much for joining us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, also Egypt has submitted an updated climate commitment as per the Paris Agreement. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back. Egypt has submitted a report on its updated nationally determined contributions document to the Secretariat of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, featuring its commitments to mitigate climate impacts as per the Paris Agreement. The 2015 Paris Agreement, whose central goal is to strengthen the global response to climate change by limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, requires countries to prepare NDCs that they intend to achieve to pursue domestic mitigation measures. Minister of Environment Yasmin Fouad said that the new report is an update of the one released in 2015 that sheds light on the measures Egypt has adopted since 2015 through 2030 to adapt to climate change. It highlights the efforts exerted to reduce emissions, improve energy efficiency, increase reliance on renewable energy sources, and manage solid waste, in addition to green funding and energy policy reforms. It reflects Egypt's commitment to the Paris Conference's outcomes and includes the goal the state has pinpointed to reduce emissions in the energy, petroleum and transport sectors. Egypt seeks to reduce 70 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions by 2030, which represents a 33% reduction in emissions level. The goal will be carried out through a series of measures, including increasing the percentage of renewable energy in electricity generation to 40% by 2030 and 42% by 2035 using smart grids. This is in addition to expanding regional power interconnection, improving the efficiency of electricity generation at power stations, promoting decentralized renewable energy systems for subscribers, and developing electricity transmission and distribution networks, the minister explained. The document also covers the country's efforts in terms of the petroleum sector, clarifying that Egypt targets reducing 1.6 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions by 2030 to reduce emissions by 65%. Such a goal will be achieved through making use of the gases generated from oil fields, supplying natural gas to more households, adopting energy efficiency measures in petroleum companies, and manufacturing biodegradable plastic bags. In the transport sector, Egypt is targeting to reduce 8.9 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions by 2030, a 7% reduction, through expanding Cairo metro network, developing the Alexandria Metro, and the rehabilitation of the 150-year-old Alexandria tramway. These crucial steps are part of Egypt's preparations for hosting the 27th session of the Conference of the Parties